What's up, everybody? So I'm just throwing this together kind of last minute. This is Rational Cynic here. It's been a while since I put something up, switching things up. I'm sure you've heard about the shooting of the kids at the Christian school today. And I think this will probably disappear by tomorrow for a couple reasons. One, the shooter was a transvestite, woman, male, whatever it is. It was a dude who proclaimed himself to be a woman, 28 years old. Had maps, had a manifesto, had scoped the place out, intentionally killed these 7, 8-year-old kids. Disgusting, and it was bound to happen. The media's been whipping this up for a while. A lot of people have warned about this, and basically here's the other deal to that. We can get into it, but you start injecting people with a bunch of chemicals. What the fuck do you expect? You talk about toxic masculinity and all kinds of things. You start shooting testosterone into people, dude, that's just, it's brain dead. Let's listen to a little of this, then I want to show you a couple things, and then I'll just leave it at that. But, this is what you get. You get mental illness, plus drugs, plus just all the bullshit in the world today. I'm not shocked.
Father that lived at that
Let's listen to this just a minute, see what they got to say.
Information. We've also determined there were maps drawn of the school in detail of surveillance, entry points, etc. We know and believe that entry was gained through shooting through one of the doors is how they actually got into the school. I want to take the time to at least say, and I won't say the victims' names, I'll let Don say that, but out of the 6 victims, 3 adults, 3 of those were children. 2 of them
Kids.
were age 9.
It's not only are we letting these people groom and abuse kids, now they're just outright shooting them. So when's enough going to be enough? Live your life how you want to live. Go to drag queen happy hour, do whatever you want to do, but kids don't need to be around a bunch of drag queens touching themselves and twerking and all that other nonsense. If you're an adult and you think that's okay, you're a disgusting person that needs help. You're a pedophile. You're a groomer. And there's no different way of thinking of that. Kids don't need to be sexualized. They don't need to be around sexual stuff, period. I raised many children that are happy and healthy, thankfully. We had good, healthy conversations about sexuality and sex, but at no time did I take them to a strip club. Because they're children. It's not complicated. Children don't need that. It's complicated enough growing up in today's world. With all the things they're exposed to, you don't intentionally take them to a man who's pretending to be a woman, who's grabbing himself and shaking and cross-dressing. That's depravity, guys. And again, if you're an adult and you want to do that, more power to you. I don't give a shit. And I think most people feel that way. But when you start bringing that around my grandchildren, or if my kids were little, my children, we've got a fucking problem. And you can say what you want to me. You can call me transphobic, homophobic. I don't give a shit. And you got a lot of people who's just not going to give a shit about your buzzwords. I have gay friends. And they're great people. I grew up with gay people. I grew up, my mother always told me not to hate. We had my Aunt JoJo. She was a lesbian. I remember my mom explaining to me what that was. I didn't care. Still don't care. Do what you want to do. You don't do that with kids. Y'all are crossing the line with that shit. There's going to be a backlash. And now this bullshit, you want to, because they made the rules in Tennessee, you don't like them, you can move. Right? Do you don't like the Tennessee laws they're passing? Pick your ass up and move. You don't go kill a bunch of kids. You disgusting, depraved people. I hope this person burns in hell. And let's look at what else is going on. So we see the news conference. God rest those poor kids' soul. And I brought up a couple other things. Excuse my stuff here. But USA Today, just 26 minutes ago after the shooting, police on Monday afternoon said that the shooter was a transgender man. Officials had initially misidentified the gender of the shooter. That really fucking Yes, to the mainstream media and all these other cucks and leftists and whack-offs, that's the point. And you watch, by tomorrow, this story will be disappeared. Doesn't fit a narrative as a crazy white mass shooter, which is not a real thing. I mean, yeah, it happens, but we'll look at some real stats in a minute. I've had enough of the bullshit. People, I look at stats all day. I analyze things all day. These half-brains at these news outlets, give them all the degrees you want, but they're worthless. But that's what our mainstream media, they're not worried about the little kids that are in a fucking morgue right now because a transvestite didn't like a law that somebody passed. Let's look at here. Look, this is on the trainee forums today. Some arm drawing, nobody is coming to save us. Save you from what, dude? You have a whole fucking month dedicated to your depravity. Grow up. Go get a job. And deal with the world. I shouldn't have to celebrate that you think you're in the wrong body or that you want to cross-dress. Grow the fuck up. People have real issues, and your gender isn't fucking one of them. Nobody cares. And that's the problem. That's the real problem, isn't it? It's that you're not getting enough attention. You don't have a real problem, so you've got to go around and, I don't know, beg for attention, I guess. Because nobody gives a shit. Leave kids alone. That's all we give a shit about. Quit being fucking pedophiles. Quit being groomers. Quit, doing that shit. So you can see these idiots. And it's going to be a bunch of incels that couldn't get laid, so they decided they were trans. And now that's not working out either. They didn't magically start getting bitches or hoes or dudes or whatever you're supposed to get. And so they're just mad at the world, so now they're going to start school shootings. Which they'd have probably done fucking anyway, honestly. But now they're trans doing it and all hopped up on God knows what fucking chemicals. So in here, Tucker Carlson a few days ago, this is what, the 25th, so 2 days ago. And in the initial tweet, let me show you, well, shit, now it's not going to let me. Well, now I've lost it all, but somebody had actually said Tucker's way off here, and Tucker was saying, hey, there's going to be some trainee, violence happening. The media is hyping this up as we're trying to kill them, when really it's just leave our kids alone. Take your shit somewhere else. I've lost all my Twitter feed. But let's look at some real crime stats, so CNN posted a thing, said there was 129 mass shootings so far in 2023. They're defining that as a shooting with 4 or more people. Okay. Now, how many of those are inner city, minority, black on black crime, 4 or more people? So let's just look at Chicago this week, this weekend, this year, all right? March, this is this month alone, 28 killed, 115 shot and wounded, 143 total shot, 30 people died. This is just this month alone. Let's just look at last week, the 19th through the 25th, 5 shot and killed, 18 shot and wounded, 23 shot, 5 dead. Good Lord, let's look year to date, 112 shot and killed, 398 people shot and wounded. 510 shot, 119 killed. This is just Chicago, the city of Chicago. One little city. Well, I say little. One major city in the United States. Just one city, though, for the year. We're not even 4 months in. Now, how many of those are mass shootings that they're counting? And how many of those are just black on black crime? Inner city violence? I mean, really, let's be honest. Where's the problem? Where's the real problem? Is it white guys going around shooting up shit with AR-15s? Or is it handguns in the inner cities? And these guys, even if they're caught, what's going to happen? They're processed, they're released. They're processed, they're released. The recidivism rate, the people going in on violent crime and getting let out on no cash, on cash bail, no bond, or no cash bail, on own recognizance bond, is staggering. The last 24 months. And that's the real issues. These people are getting away with it. And they're ruining your cities. And they don't care. They don't live with... These people are making these laws. They don't live in these inner cities. They don't live downtown Chicago, south side of Chicago. They don't live in the middle of D.C. If they do, it's a gated community. They have security. They know they're... But it's real popular out on the campaign trail to say, yeah, these these laws are too harsh and hitting the black and brown community too hard. And we're not gonna do that anymore. And you know what's sad is there is a real argument that some cash bonds for silly things is, an onerous burden on people. That if you get a DWI on Friday night, nobody got killed, but you got busted, that you shouldn't sit in jail for 2 weeks because you can't afford $1,000 bail. Hey, I'm sympathetic to that. Or if you get some speeding or, traffic violations, that you shouldn't sit in jail for a month because you can't afford, the bail. I'm nonviolent crimes. I'm all for that. We needed some reform, but they just went crazy with it and said, yeah, hell, in Chicago, a lot of their stuff, you literally can attempt to kill somebody and you will get let out the next day. You look it up, look up the Safety Act, SAFE-T Act in Chicago. Look at all the stuff you will not get held in jail for. So why wouldn't these guys go rob places and steal shit, rape people and murder people? It's ridiculous. Look at all the stores leaving Oregon. They've decriminalized drugs in Oregon. They've made it where basically, unless you steal over $1,000 worth of goods, the cops won't even show up at your store. So Walmart, Fred Meyer, Target, all these major chains just noping out of that entire state. And what's that going to do? That removes jobs. That removes, people's income. That lowers more income coming into the state. That means people either move, they have to get other jobs. That just takes away all kinds of opportunities for people. That's not going to help the state. That's just going to make it worse. It's going to make it a shithole. Which, if you've been to Portland, seen pictures of Portland or Seattle, it's already there. Can't get a whole lot worse, honestly. It's a disgusting shithole. It used to be so pretty. I'm actually from Oregon. It used to be one of the most beautiful places on the planet. But you got all these blue-haired fucking idiots there, and all these radical minority leaders that think they need reparations. These people they were not even related to people that were slaves. It's ridiculous. That's a whole nother video. Just because you're black doesn't mean you come from slaves. That's fucking ridiculous. Ridiculous. And it's just ignorance, honestly. Nobody's checked these people's ignorance. The school system has failed these people. I've met people with master's degrees that can barely turn on a goddamn computer. It's a fucking shame. Ignorance has just been personified. They get credentialed and it's useless because academia has become a bunch of circle jerking of just ideology. It's just, it doesn't matter your intellect, your expertise, as long as you spout the right talking points and vote for the right people and, cuck yourself and say, oh yeah, I've got white privilege or I'm oppressed or, whatever the current thing is. Yeah, we need to defend Ukraine to the last American baby and take all my money and all the bullshit talking points. These people have no principles. They have no values. And something's got to change or it's going to continue on this path. Look the damage that's been done in the past 2 years. Just imagine for a second, you extrapolate that amount of damage over the next decade. There'll be nothing left, folks. Nothing. And maybe that's the point. I've told everybody I know there is no way the decisions that have been made in this country for the past 6 years have been being made by anybody that loves this country. There's no way. So anyway, I encourage everybody to check out this site, Hey Jackass. Pay attention to the news. Don't listen to what they're saying. Look beyond what they're saying. They all have a nasty agenda. Nobody can be truthful. Look for independent media sources on Twitter, somewhere else, because the mainstream media cannot tell the truth to save their lives. We're going to see more shootings like this. I hope we'll see a backlash eventually against all this bullshit. Something's got to stop. Minorities cannot continue to terrorize the inner cities. We cannot let this continue. We can't let them come after our kids. We have to draw the line. So please support the channel, like and subscribe, share this, Twitter, everywhere you share it will help. I appreciate it. Hit me up with questions, hit me up with comments, hit me up with the topic you want to hear next. I appreciate you guys. Later.